Good morning from Bryce Canyon National Park here in Utah. Today we are going to be hiking the Two Bridges Trail and then heading over to the Queen's Garden Trail. For a full trail guide of this beautiful hike here in Bryce Canyon, you can check the link in the description below. So the hike starts here over at Sunset Point. You can also start it at Sunrise Point. You just have to walk the rim trail after. Give you a look at one of the main attractions here, Thor's Hammer, which is right here. And you can look down into the start of the trail here. So you can look down into one of the famous trails, Wall Street, which is closed seasonally. So if you want to add that to your hike, you can definitely do that, but just make sure it's open. It usually closes around late October. If you've never been to Bryce before, this place is just so unique and it's really hard to put any of it in perspective. And a lot of the shots I show maybe will get tiresome for you, but it's 100% worth checking out if you're down in this part of the state or even on its own. If you do come down here, you can easily add on a trip to Canyonlands if you're coming from the east, or you can add Zion on if you're coming from the west. If you're looking for some longer hikes, I'll link those in the description below. I've done the full figure 8 loop and the Fairyland loop as well. This area that we're in right now is very popular and Instagrammable, I would say. But if you're looking for the shot down that I just showed, you want to start your loop here on Sunset Point, not Sunrise. A namesake of the trail here, Two Bridges. Pretty self-explanatory. You're going to reach this junction here, and you're gonna have some options. We're gonna do the Queen's Garden Trail, so we're just gonna head left as you were coming down. Came down here, go there. If you did want to extend your hike, I'll link the video. You can do the figure 8 loop, as it's called, and basically go the Navajo Trail to the Peekaboo Loop, and that's a fun one as well. About 6 miles. This one's only about 3. So we're gonna head left here and continue on to Queen's Garden. Let's quickly talk about time of year to visit Bryce. So as I said, we're in here in November around Thanksgiving, and it is really nice this time of year because the crowds are much lower. Obviously it's going to be pretty cold. We started the day, it was about 18 degrees Fahrenheit, and yeah, that definitely scares some crowds off. But for me, I don't really love national parks because of the levels of crowds, so this is a perfect time of year to visit if you're like that. If you don't really care, you can definitely come here in the summer. I would recommend starting earlier or later in the day because the middle of the day is just going to be really hot and miserable, and there'll definitely be more crowds here because of that. This part of the loop, you might be like, Mickey, this hike sucks. What are you talking about? But just give it a little time and you'll be back into the Hodos here, and there's some really cool spots as you get to Queen's Garden and then as you climb up to Sunrise Point.
This isn't as cool as the Hodos, but it also is really cool, the ecosystems within an ecosystem. You feel like you're in a forest right now, so I think that's pretty cool too.
Alright, so as you get here, you can go to Queen's Garden, which is just a little out and back spot to hike to right now. This is named after Queen Victoria and her Hodo. So this is the Queen Victoria. You might be able to see that is her head, and then she's kind of facing that way. That's what she's supposed to look like. The details are what makes this park so cool. The little window and the hodos back there. Just beauty around every corner here. Really funny. I've been here, done this loop twice now, and walked by her 3 times, and that's the first time I've actually seen the Queen in the Queen's Garden. So yeah, be sure to take some time and figure it out, because like what Jackie and I said, like once you see it, you can't unsee it. But she's a lot smaller of a hodo than you think. Jackie and I think this one looks like Groot. What do you think? Can you see it? Tell me in the comments below. Climbing out of the Queen's Garden Trail here, you're gonna eventually end up right up here at Sunrise Point, excuse me, and then work your way back along the rim to the starting point. Parking lot for sunset is right about there. As you get towards the second half of the hike here, you're gonna just be climbing up slowly, but it's gonna be a slow burn, so take your time, enjoy the hodos to your left, and yeah, soon you'll be at the rim. And yeah, we're just about 2.5 miles in here, so this hike will be just about 3 miles depending on exactly where you park. So once you get out of the canyon there, you're just gonna head left back to your car. If you're at Sunset Point, you'll be a bit further along the canyon like I showed you earlier. If you parked at Sunrise, then you're probably coming from the other way. This video makes no sense, but yeah, so this is pretty much the end of the hike. I would say this is an excellent hike in Bryce Canyon. If you only had one to do, this is the one. It's about 3 miles, 600 feet of climbing. It's all at the end of your loop, so it's really not a bad hike at all, and you just get to see so much cool stuff, and getting down into the hodos themselves is just absolutely something you should do. Okay, so that's going to wrap up my video here of Queen's Garden Trail and the 2 bridges / Navajo Trail here in Bryce Canyon National Park. Awesome loop. If you're new to my channel, I do virtual trail guides here in Utah national parks, based in Colorado, and much, much more. So go ahead and hit the subscribe and bell button not to miss any future hike related content. For a full trail guide and much more information on this hike, you can check out my website, which is linked in the description below as well. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure.